Mega Man wasn't an instant success, financially or critically. Mega Man 2 is where the series first made big sales numbers, and as for design and gameplay, the third game is where it really smoothed out most of the rough edges. The first game is definitely flawed, but the series rapidly improved over its first few installments. Even with its imperfections, however, the game nailed down a lot of the core concepts that would define Capcom's Mega Man formula throughout the years. Mega Man's expandable core abilities are one of the series' most important features. Mega Man can gain new abilities, and unlike the trend of temporary power-ups in most games of the time, these are permanent additions to his ability set. Beating a Robot Master will give Mega Man a version of the boss's weapon that can be used at any time, provided it has sufficient energy. Another of the major defining aspects of Mega Man is the stage select. While the player must clear all of the Robot Master stages to proceed to the endgame stages, the player has a say in which order they tackle the initial levels. This gives the player a feeling of ownership over their playthrough. It also gives players who get stuck on a particular level an option to try one of the other levels and come back to it later, probably stronger and with more weapons. This adds a bit of strategy to the games, as players can find an optimal route. From personal experience, favorite boss order is always up for debate between players, as there's rarely one specific path that is objectively better than the rest. Following the design of Mega Man and the Robot Masters, many of the enemies have visible faces or eyes that give them their own unique character. Mega Man games also like to make enemies varying sizes and shapes, throwing multiple small enemies at the player on one screen, while following up with one giant enemy on the next. When entering a stage in classic Mega Man, the stages are immediately distinct from one another, as well as generally themed to the upcoming boss. This gives the player some idea of what kind of traps and enemies might be in store for them. This also helps build up the boss battle, since jumping lava pits and dodging flames is a pretty good indicator of the upcoming fire-based fight, almost characterizing the level itself. Each boss also has their own very unique appearance and theme. They all have their own individual fight patterns and are just as expressive as Mega Man. Not only does each stage build up the battle with the boss, but the room itself feels like you're entering an arena to test your abilities. Epic music, a grand boss entrance, and a full power bar that equals your own help make each boss encounter very memorable. As stated earlier, after beating a boss, you acquire a usually modified version of one of their weapons. Mega Man can use these new abilities at any point after obtaining them, providing the refillable energy isn't depleted. This gives the player a lot more options for working through each stage, and can help them beat challenges they might have been having trouble with previously. When equipped, the boss's weapons also uniquely change the color of Mega Man's armor, indicating to the player which weapon is active. Another cornerstone of the series is that each boss has resistances and weaknesses to each weapon in the game. Bosses often have one major weakness. It's easy enough to figure out most of the time if you can follow the designer's thought process. Sometimes easy, like ice beating fire, and sometimes more obscure, like scissors beating electricity, which is definitely not recommended in real life. Importantly though, you don't need to exploit weaknesses to win. Mega Man's Mega Buster attack is sufficient for beating any boss up to the late game. It just takes longer, more skill, and memorizing the boss patterns. Spectacle set pieces and bosses are easy to overlook now, but epic-sized bosses like the Yellow Devil and Mecha Dragon were pretty insane for the time, not to mention the various Wily contraptions. A number of Mega Man's core ideas and staff branched out to work on different projects alongside Mega Man throughout the NES's golden years, sharing mechanics and even game code to further Capcom's success on the Nintendo. Check back for part 2. Cheers!